In the immortal words of Popeye, Elon's had all he can stands and he can't stands no more. Fireworks aplenty were had on Saturday, and I've got all the details. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 594 for May 11th, 2020. This show is sponsored by my supporter Richard. If you're in the market for a new Tesla, please consider using his referral code. Ask your salesperson to use code Richard174 or go direct to the web link ts.la/Richard174 and pick up a 1,000 mile supercharging credit for your new vehicle. Well, this show originally was going to include a story on Autopilot allegedly picking up the ability to read speed limit signs, as well as the odometer getting stats on Autopilot miles driven, which are both cool things coming to the cars. But in a we interrupt your regularly scheduled program for this important breaking news moment on Saturday, Elon absolutely unloaded on Alameda County. After the county again denied Tesla's ability to open, despite the state declaring manufacturing to be able to proceed to open, Elon clearly has had enough of the county's extra regulation. Following tweets from the Third Row Tesla podcast saying, quote, "So apparently Alameda County doesn't think Tesla should reopen until June 1st, end quote. And then Ross Gerber saying, quote, "Time for a lawsuit," end quote. Elon apparently agreed, tweeting, quote, "Tesla is filing a lawsuit against Alameda County immediately. The unelected and ignorant interim health officer of Alameda is acting contrary to the governor, the president, our constitutional freedoms, and just plain common sense," end quote. But that wasn't the end of the story. Minutes later, Elon tweeted, quote, "Frankly, this is the final straw. Tesla will now move its headquarters and future programs to Texas/Nevada immediately. If we even retain Fremont manufacturing activity at all, it will be dependent on how Tesla is treated in the future. Tesla is the last car maker left in California," end quote. So a lot to unpack there. Firstly, the lawsuit. Bear with me because the accusations are a bit long here. Tesla is suing the county on several points, which reference both the U.S. and California constitutions, in addition to some general state laws. They contend first that the county's order violates the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution by failing to give reasonable notice to persons of ordinary intelligence of what is forbidden under the law. The claim is because they are overriding the state's order that gives them express permission to operate, and with no formal procedure to even challenge the county on this determination, this is a violation of the 14th Amendment. Second, Tesla also charges that the county has violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment as well. Tesla asserts that with at least one neighboring county permitting car manufacturing to resume, the order violates the Equal Protection Clause by discriminating against identically situated parties without rational basis. Third, the suit continues charging that the county violated Article 11, Section 7 of the California State Constitution. They quote the section where it reads that a county may only, quote, "make and enforce within its limits, ellipsis, ordinances and regulations not in conflict with general laws," end quote. Tesla says that the county has exceeded its authority by attempting to override a state order. Fourth, Tesla further contends that the county contradicts even itself, as it has an FAQ that says that the installation of solar, storage, or electric vehicle charging systems is a permitted business, as is the manufacture of distributed energy resource components. Tesla says that the whole of its business is included under the definition of distributed energy resource components defined by the California Public Utility Commission in PUC Code Section 769A, who is the authority to define this term in the regulation of distributed energy. Quote, "For the purposes of this section, distributed resources means distributed renewable generation resources, energy efficiency, energy storage, electric vehicles, and demand response technologies," end quote. Fifth, Tesla claims the county does not have the authority to enforce its order under the sections of law it cites. Tesla claims that the Health and Safety Code Section 120,295 and Penal Code Sections 148A1 and 69 lack the authority to impose any punishment under law in this instance. The suit says Section 120.295 only makes it a crime to violate Section 120.130 or any section in Chapter 3. Tesla further lays out that the provisions mainly only apply to health officials, with some exceptions, and only where a health officer has ordered a quarantine or isolation, neither of which apply in this instance. Sections 148 and 69 of the Penal Code only speak on resisting, delaying, or obstructing a public official, or doing the same via threat, force, or violence, ostensibly in conjunction with the Health and Safety Code Section 120.295, whose relevance is the one being challenged. Tesla seeks an injunction to resume its operations and a judgment to recover attorney's fees and, quote, "other relief available under the law that may be considered appropriate under the circumstances," end quote. Wow, so that was a lot. But again, not the end of things. So the second half of this bombshell is that Elon has threatened to pull Tesla's operations from California. Many folks have weighed in on this one way or the other, but I tell you right now, Elon has made a lot of statements that seemed absolutely batty at the time, and then followed through on them later. Do not underestimate Elon's ability to follow through on this statement, especially given that the county has absolutely demonstrated an ongoing risk to the company related to its regulatory ability. So you might ask yourself, what set all this off? Well, beside the tweet that rumored that the county would see the plant closed until June, it would appear that Tesla has long had a plan for worker safety in place, even working with the county to develop it. And yet, the county wouldn't exempt one of its largest employers. The Tesla blog posted a lengthy article, including its detailed return to work plan. And it is very detailed. And this is really no surprise, as the company's already been through this with Gigafactory in Shanghai. They have first-hand knowledge on how to keep employees safe at work in one of the harshest possible environments to do so. If any company is going to keep its employees safe during this trying time, in my personal opinion, it's going to be Tesla. In support of this, Tesla outlines in its post how it's worked with the county to try and get things rolling. They've shared with the county the detailed health and safety restart plan, along with the checklist and photos, employee health and safety guidelines, the risk assessment process and improvements, and many other important bits. Given the lawsuit has been served on a Saturday, it will be extremely interesting to see on Monday how the county responds. I've seen more than a few journalists posit that this lawsuit will derail efforts to reopen the factory a week later. May 18th was the target date that I had been hearing. I really hope that government officials wouldn't be so petty as to delay the reopening of the factory, affecting 10,000 of their constituents, just because their feelings are hurt over being called out. So what do I think will come of all this? I think Tesla has a really solid case. I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on TV, nor did I stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but this seems rather open and shut to me per the complaint. I would hope the county will see the same, release Tesla to open with the well-constructed plan it's already created, and we can move past this nonsense. Nobody wants this suit to proceed, so hopefully the county will see the writing on the wall. Apart from that result, though, I think you're going to see one other thing for sure. Shout out to @MartinG Anderson on Twitter for the prompt on talking about Giga Nevada and the future Gigafactory's effect on this. Regardless of if Elon totally follows through on the move from Fremont, I would almost say I'd eat my shoe if we don't see new construction at Giga Nevada within the next 3 months. Elon will clearly want some contingency plans available to him if Fremont's production is ever threatened again. Making use of that remaining land in Nevada is one of the few ways they can do that in the US without building a whole plant. But on that topic, I think we're absolutely going to see Giga Texas announced before the month is out. And accompanying that, legislation to ensure Texas's newest crown jewel of manufacturing is able to sell directly to consumers in that state without restriction. These two pieces will give Tesla leverage if ever future shenanigans ensue. The interesting piece of this, though, will be what happens with the Model S and Model X lines. Fremont is the only factory in the world where these lines exist. Would Tesla build lines at one or both of Giga Nevada and Giga Texas to support production of the top-line vehicles in the event of Fremont production issues? Or would they be willing to simply let the demand for those vehicles build until a reopen of the facility? Given the low volumes produced for these lines at this point, as well as the lack of a paint shop at Giga Nevada or a planned shop at Giga Texas, I have to think that they might just leave them be. If the move was made to actually transition out of Fremont, you'd probably then see those lines move to Giga Texas, would be my guess. The development of Giga Texas will be interesting to watch on this front. If they ever talk about a paint shop there, we all know what's up. If not, then Tesla will be exactly where they were in the event of another clash with the county government. That is, of course, unless they build another U.S. factory, or unless they decide to build a paint shop at Giga Nevada. The latter is more likely, but we'll see what we get. I could honestly see it going either way. The lure of building a U.S. factory from scratch for the non-truck product lineup has to be appealing, especially in light of the efficiency that Giga Shanghai is realizing from its layout. However, bolting a shop into Giga Nevada would be much faster, way less capital intensive, and give an immediate shot in the arm to production. I could foresee a future where Model S and Model X were exclusively produced at Giga Nevada on one revamped super high efficiency line each, and the room vacated at Fremont converted to Model 3 and Model Y lines to support the higher demand for those vehicles. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for today's show. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. And as always, a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crude III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Todd Sullivan, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morvanog, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Nathan Garza, Ed Patterman, Sunil Joseph, and Joy Rodriguez. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Until next time, keep it charged and hit the road.